Welcome to the Big Law Business Report, where big law meets big business. I'm your host, Brian Brown. Thank you for joining us today. In the studio, I have Curtis Hom, Managing Attorney for Innova Legal Group, ILG. Curtis, thanks for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me, Brian.
It's my pleasure. So Curtis, you do some very innovative stuff with your law firm, working with CEOs and boards. Tell me a little bit about this.
I work with Fortune 500 companies primarily in connection with their annual director and board peer review evaluations.
Got you. So when you mean peer review evaluations, your other members of the board are looking at each other, or they're looking at the CEOs, all of the above, neither A or B?
Primarily, they are looking at each other. They evaluate each other in connection with performance based on criteria that has been set by the board or primarily by the corporate governance committee for the board.
Got you. So where does ILG and where does Curtis Hom come in this process? Do you come in the beginning, the middle, the end? Sometimes somewhere, all a part of that scenario?
All of the above, Brian. Thank
okay.
you. I work primarily with them in the facilitation and the processing of their information. One of the things that the corporations and the boards are particularly sensitive to is the confidentiality of the information, both the raw information as well as the results,
right,
as well as the anonymity of the author who is providing the feedback about their compatriots.
Got you. So basically, so it sounds like to me you sort of conduct maybe some one-on-one interviews, some group interviews, but all again looking at it from a holistic type of approach. How do you look at these board members? I mean, I would imagine these people with unbelievable credentials have been very successful in multiple walks of life. How does Curtis Hom, a former in-house counsel for a large software company, how does Curtis Hom come in and fit into that scenario?
I work primarily with the chairman of the corporate governance committee as they put together the surveys for the directors to either complete or to have an interview with me if they wish to do so in an oral sense, providing feedback and often ratings on their on each of the co-directors.
Got you. Now, do they give you sort of a list of questions? Is it something that you compile or you create, or they create with you? You guys and gals kind of work together?
It really varies by company. Most companies that I've worked with have a central set of criteria that they wish to examine, such as what is their background, how well have they been performing, how are they performing in connection with each other as they have their discussions, as they move toward the decision-making process. As I mentioned before, some of it could be written and another could be oral. It all depends on what the company decides will meet their particular goals and objectives.
Got you. So when you're finished with your report, is this something that goes in the annual report, or that's kept sort of internally? Is it used as, Curtis, I don't do this every day. You probably have to take that from my questions, and clearly that you do. Is it something that's sort of used a bit of as a training tool, or what do they do with the information?
Primarily they use the information. The information goes first and foremost to the chair of the corporate governance committee, who often will conduct interviews with each of their co-directors and say how they rated and areas that they may be doing well and areas that they may need to pay additional attention.
Gotcha.
Whether they use it or primarily they keep the information internal as a performance tool.
Sure.
Excuse me.
No problem. Happens all the time as a performance tool. That's great. Curtis, do me a favor. Hold that thought because I want to expand on that a little bit. We need to go to a break. We'll be right back on the Big Law Business Report.